Hello and welcome to our main conversation on Enterprise, a Friday on Enterprise, a TV, and now to our main conversation for today. It's International Women's Day today, and many women groups continue to find their voice in pressing home the salient issues that pertain to women's well-being. The theme for this year's celebration is Inspire Inclusion in Nigeria. Several organizations, mostly women organizations, are taking out the time to mark the annual event with a variety of activities to drive home the theme of inclusion for the nation's 110 million women. Here on Enterprise Friday, we are dedicating today's episode to a conversation on the theme of inclusion. The big question on many lips is, could this indeed be the year the Nigerian women has been waiting for? To help us make sense of the subject, I have with me in the studio Dr. Mary Oluwatumbi, a family life advocate. For more than 40 years, she's been directly involved with women's issues and helping women overcome personal difficulties and empowering them to find their voice in their own spaces. Good morning, Dr. Mary.
Good morning. It's
Welcome.
a privilege being here on International Women's Day.
Exactly. Thank you so very
Thank
much
you.
for having you. And also with me in the studio is Dr. Evans Ofeli, a rights lawyer and executive director of Cadwell Advocacy Center. Cadwell is a non-profit providing legal support for victims of various forms of violence and abuse, including rape, child molestation, domestic violence, and so on. Dr. Ofeli has actually worked at length as a frontline advocate partnering both the Lagos and Delta state governments. Dr. Ofeli, you're welcome
Thank
to
you.
Enterprise Friday today.
My pleasure.
All right. I'd love to start off by saying congratulations to all of us. Today is an International Women's Day, and it's really
Yes.
indeed a graceful occasion, if you ask me. I'd love to start my question with you, Dr. Ofeli. Let's begin with the basics of the matter here. It's International Women's Day today. Call it what you will, Christmas for women, whatever it is. And the theme this year is Inspire Inclusion. What do you think about this conversation for today?
Well, today is a day set aside to celebrate women all over the world because women they form the focal point. They are the fulcrum of the existence of human condition. You see, the woman is the bringer of life. So if we have to talk about life, you cannot tell the story of life without the presence of the woman or the pronouncement that the woman stands in the mix of all that we're all brought into this life by women. So setting a day aside for that conversation is critical. I learned that it's even more than one day. The Americans have theirs, the British have theirs, and some other countries have theirs outside the Gregorian calendar. So it is important. For the Nigerian case, they're talking about the issue of inspiring what inclusion, from the political dimension to the economic dimension to education to health to family to welfare and all whatnot. It is important that this conversation is brought home, that the younger generation are properly positioned to understand the critical foundation of the woman in the life of a nation. I've traveled a bit around countries. And one thing I noticed around the countries I've been to is that countries that take women very seriously, welfare of women very seriously, seems to progress very fast.
Yes.
They seem to have where they have used legislations to create self-preservation for women and children. You see those countries how they rise very fast
Yes.
because when a woman is empowered, the nation is empowered.
That is it.
If you empower a woman, there is a 100% or 90% tendency that whatever empowerment you have placed on her will trickle down to the children.
Yes.
And because the family is the smallest unit of society, the family, the nation is empowered directly. So that is why during the Jonathan era and the Obasanjo era, there was a call for affirmative action, and politically women should be given space in the economic projection of the country because of the very important issue that it will have a way of, getting to the children, getting to the nation, and being a healthy society.
Yes.
So I think that inspire inclusion is a very fundamental discussion.
Very, very fundamental. Dr. Mary, do you have an add-on to that?
Yes, because women are homemakers, they are nation builders. And most of the time, they are with the children, especially at that formative age. So educate a woman, you educate the society. When a woman is empowered, it involves the home, it involves the children, it goes down even to the society. So I gladly agree with that there should be that inclusion for the women world. Thank you.
Very true. All right, so let's talk about inclusion here. When we talk about the 5 key areas needing a joint action, I think it's very important we talk about the respect to inclusion here. And we have about 110 million women in Nigeria. Where do you think that leaves us in the conversation about inclusion of these people as part of our society?
Well, in the leadership position, look at the political sector. Even this regime that we have fewer women. Like in the Senate, there are about just 4. Now, when you put women in position, they know how it feels. They know where the shoe pinches. They are able to address the things that affects women more. So, leadership position in the nation, in the various offices. If you look at instances where women are in the executive position, in the corporate world, they perform better. If you look at in churches, where women are given opportunity to make use of their God-given gifts, they have better impact. They become mothers, women of generational impact that impacts the society right from their home. And from that home, it descends down. It's able to affect others. It affects their children positively, and it affects the society positively. So there should be that inclusion, and it helps a lot. Just like Dr. Evans says, in the climes where women are given opportunity, where women are educated, where they are developed, it makes things better. The children are educated, it makes things to move smoothly. And that is why I will say that chance should still be given to women. That inclusion should be there because it affects the overall health of the community.
Very true. Very true. So, Dr. Evans, let's talk a look at this issue on inclusion of women, especially as regards the challenges that they face in Nigeria. Where do you think this is coming from? I'd love you to take a look at it from the politics to business to every other activity that both gender participate in, but the challenges that go with women with respect to
there's a global trend to this. Most societies, especially in developing countries, are patriarchal societies where emphasis is placed so much on men. In fact, in certain tribes, they rejoice more when a child is born, when a male child is born, as against a female child. That is a complete misunderstanding of the concept of creation. Complete misunderstanding. Now, there's a global trend because in the days of yore, when the focal point of human development was conquest, men were at the forefront because of their physical strength. Okay. It got to a point where, as we speak today in the information age, because we have moved from the classical to the restoration to the Renaissance age to the Victorian age to laissez-faire industrial age, now to the information age. Okay, now we are looking at the astronomical age. That is where the world is going to now. Okay, now having gone through all that, today where the world is information age. And if you read the works of Charles Charles Darwin made that postulation that it is not the strongest physically that will survive in this age, but the most adaptable, okay, and the most intelligent. So today's world is no longer about physical strength. It's about intellection and adaptability. So your ability to adapt is what will give you an edge in the current setting of the world today. So we have lost the era of physical strength and exhibition, which was where humanity started from. Now at this age, the global trend is that when you go to parliaments all over the world, affirmative action have been made part of the laws of many countries, even in Africa. Okay, there's countries in Africa now where you have 50% women in parliament and 50% men in parliaments. Some other countries where you have all of that. So in Nigeria, unfortunately, in 2018, where the Eighth Assembly had the opportunity to amend the Constitution, a lot of them there voted against affirmative action. So it did not scale through as to the percentage we should have in our laws, in our Constitution. Most people voted against it. But you see, the conversation is still ongoing because the more we develop, the more things unveil, the more we find the need to have more women included in the leadership position. Look at the result of the law school, for example. Okay? The number of persons that have first class, the women outnumber the men. Okay? It's not just a law school. When you go to different schools, do convocations, and just take the statistics and see the level. We're not saying that the men are not doing well. We're saying that there's a need, there's a reason why God created the woman.
Yes.
And gave him equal power as a man. Male and female created them.
Yes.
And gave them dominion. There was no disparity in dominion. So this disparity we have in the political scene and economic scene is man-made. Was not actually the idea of creation. So there's a need for us to align. And that alignment is what we advocate for. In my work with women, with the Lagos State Government, with Delta State Government, on domestic violence, rape, and all that, I've come to understand that society, our current society, don't really place emphasis on the safety of women.
Okay.
Immediately a lady is raped and he gets to the police station. He reports to the police will find them laughing.
They don't justify.
Yeah, sometimes they will ask
And
her,
then
where
he
do
gets
you
to the
go?
police.
What do you wear to the police? Those kind of mockery. You understand? Because that same policeman was not properly raised. Raised on that patriarchy, so you don't have the right balance of intention. And you don't have it. So there must be a rework, a ground rework on orientation.
A total overhaul.
A total overhaul on orientation and position. You see, we cannot inspire inclusion if we don't even understand what exactly we need to include. How we need to empower women to the point where we have to get a safe society. We have to work. It's very, very important.
Exactly. Now, talking about inclusion, I would love to ask you, Dr. Mary, there are 5 key areas that need joint action in all of this. Number 1 is investing in women, that's human rights issues. 2 is ending poverty. 3, implementing gender responsive financing. 4, shifting to a green economy and care society. And number 5 is supporting feminist change makers. Where do you think we are in Nigeria with regards to this joint action on ensuring inclusivity for women in Nigeria?
Though things have improved, but it is not where it is supposed to be. Like economically, women have tried in the private sector taking the initiative. Because like I said, when a woman is empowered, it affects the home positively, transcending even to the society. And even the area of education, the woman needs to be educated. When a woman is educated, you find out that the children also will be educated. They will become healthier. They will become well-informed. They get better jobs. But most of the time, it's the ones that are educated that their children also get educated. Except the few ones through struggle that comes from low background and that kind of a thing. You see, when a woman is empowered, it affects all areas of her life, the educational side, even the social side. And most of these things is the private initiative that is really helping. Though there are various NGOs that are making the advocacy, but there is the need also to have the support, even from government. Like I said, in leadership position, in key role. And I say, what some of these things, why it was not affirmed, some is due to culture. Their culture and their religion that takes the woman to the background,
Exactly.
which is not helping matters. And you find out that there's backwardness in that area, and there's just the tendency that, well, it's male dominated, and they are the one that seems to be prospering. But you see, the few ones that are given opportunity, that are educated, that are empowered, it helps a lot. And look, that empowerment covers all area. Even spiritually, when a person is empowered, you have right relationship with God, you're able to take informed decision, you're able to seek for direction on to what to embark upon, and that will help a lot. Even like Dr. Evans was talking on this rape issue, how many even gets reported? There is that shame there that, who is going to make the report? And most often than not, it does not go beyond that reporter at the police station. But where there are instances where there are consequences and people see that they are made to pay for it, it will serve as a deterrent. Even look at some of this organized world that most of the time they obey rules because of consequences, not because if they like the traffic light, if you break law, there is no any agreement with the police. The bill is already sent to your email, which you must pay, and there is consequences for that. So until there is consequences, people will not do what they are supposed to do. But when they are well informed, when there's an internal reorganization, when our values are properly defined and instilled even from early life, the society will be better for it.
Very true. Dr. Ufendi, you did mention the issue of the disparity that comes from a human-made political disparity that we have in Nigeria particularly. And it seems to us that the women have a short end of the stick when it comes to politics in Nigeria. Now, I'd love to read to you data from INEC for the 10th Assembly. It states here that women occupy 3% of the seat in the Senate, 4.7% in the House of Representatives. Now, you and I know too well that the political scene in Nigeria is a cutthroat, zero-sum game in Nigeria, where we women do not have the capital wherewithal to undertake real-time politics in Nigeria. What do you think is the best measure to bring home that sensitization or helping women to be at par with men?
Well, some political parties have tried to intervene here when they have made the forms, nomination forms for women free. The PDP did that some time ago. But we noticed that even after they did that, we discovered that there are other problems.
Definitely.
Not just the financial problems. Sarah Jubri, for example, wanted to be the president. She contested and she got one vote during the primaries. That is her own vote. Meanwhile, there were people who she had mobilized to, women that she had mobilized to the field for the primaries.
And knowing that women are the highest electorates.
Yes,
That is the thing.
they are more. Okay? So she got one vote, and that's the vote she cast for herself. So it tells you that the problem is beyond the finance.
Yes.
Okay, because I tell you that if you want to be a member of the House of Assembly today, you need an average of 2 to 3 billion naira.
No.
To
Really?
walk through your campaign, and there's no guarantee you will win. You understand? That is why most times people have to get godfathers
That's it.
whom they will submit to throughout their tenure, because you just cannot break forth.
Yes.
You need to have the political what it takes. And in Nigeria, where the process is primarily vote buying, so our electoral system needs to be reformed.
Yes,
We have to start from there to even give women the chance to compete. Our political system is not by intellectual or by your capacity, your brilliance or your intelligence or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. It is staggering. It is grab it, take it and run, kill it. One of the former president of Nigeria told us that politics is a go or die affair. The current president told us that grab it, kick it, run with it, run. So it's staggering. They have established that it's staggering. So, and where you have staggering, you hardly find women there.
That's it.
Because women would rather be reclusive than to put themselves out there in the face of violence. So let us tone down the violence in the political scene. Okay, make the meetings, political meetings, daytime. Political meetings are held 1 a.m. in Nigeria, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. We once had a meeting with the governor of one of the states in Abuja, and when I saw the IV sent to me, I called the personal assistant to the governor. But did you check? There's a mistake in the time. He said, no, that the meeting will start at 1 a.m.
So why was it slated at that time?
I don't know. There's a culture of, they have a nocturnal culture where they don't want anything, either the press to be there, or they just have a way of doing that. I said, how are we going to move from this into, they said, no, hotels are already reserved for us everywhere. We just check in that same hotel. What we need to just move from your room to the banquet. And that was, we were there from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. That is how political meetings are conducted in Nigeria. Now, tell me how many women
will be able to do that.
So the culture needs to change. You know, homo politicus. Man is a political animal. They didn't say it's just men only. Man in the generic sense, both male and female should participate. You understand? So there must be certain orientation. They have to restructure the whole thing. And women on their part also, we need to support women.
That is it.
Because there are cases, we have seen cases where women also don't come out to support women. The primaries are, it's just an axis test. Okay, in one of the primaries and the election before the last election, where you had a woman who was on the ballots, and during the primaries, she sold her position to someone else.
Wow.
And people were collecting $25,000 each. So tell me how many, if a woman is in the ballot for that primaries and somebody is dishing out $25,000. So how do you expect, even the former vice president, in the primaries, the APC primaries, okay, could not withstand, a vice president could not withstand what an outsider. Money for money.
That is it.
Our politics is, if you know what is in our political system, you will first of all ask that be unbundled before we even talk about affirmative action. Affirmative action, even when we have it and we don't reform our political system, we will still not have women inclusive. So affirmative action will come with political reform, and this reform must instill righteousness in government.
Yes.
You understand?
True.
When the righteous are in power, the people rejoice.
Yes.
But here we have created a system where it's just about the money bags. And when they get in, you begin to see the consequence.
Yes. And the
Because during the election, we were shouting on TV that don't collect money and vote. Don't sell your vote. People went out there, sold their votes. In fact, there was a man that they interviewed. He was angry, and the press got to him after the election. He said, "Why are you angry, sir?" He said he's angry because before he came out, they told him they were going to give him 10,000 naira. After voting, they gave him 5,000 naira. And this is an offense under the Electoral Act.
We will prosecute
Punishable by terms of imprisonment. He was angry that, so it tells you that, see, this money politics we are doing, you cannot do this and grow any country. Go and check history. You cannot develop any country with this kind of political model. It cannot work. It doesn't work like this. you must clean up the political process first
before
you talk development. And that is why today they say okay, they are selling a bag of rice for 90,000. People are crying that they are hungry. You sold your vote not too long ago, 3 months ago. What do you think the consequence should be? That you should enjoy the country will change overnight. When you have the wrong policies, someone stood on the day of inauguration impulsively and said subsidy is gone without considering the consequences, the aftermath. So subsidy is gone. Then the thought of how to keep the country together is so.
Especially as it regards to women, actually.
We need to. Let's talk this together because politics is part of what you must do to get to leadership. So if you don't have the right kind of politics, you can talk affirmative action until the kingdom. Okay? But when we have the right political system and we evolve that way, we'll have a healthier society. Nigeria have no business being this way.
Exactly. At all. Very true. All right, so I'd love to ask you what is your take home here as we cruise. What will be your last word, especially to the authority, to your fellow folks? What will be your drive home message to them, especially today as we celebrate the International Women's Day?
Well, the perception about women needs to change. And women also need to be encouraged. They should know their self-worth and their integrity. The way people look down on themselves again, it does not help at all. And also women against women. We must recognize our worth and our contribution. It will help a lot. Like was said, even this politics of all this corruption and what, who is going to bear the cat? Who is going to begin the change? That change has to start from individual lives.
Sure.
And because winner takes all, what people now say, oh, if they get there, will I be able to assess them? So let me just get what I have. It has not helped and it will not help. Let that change begin with each and every one of us. Let there be a right perception about women. And let women themselves improve, work on their capacity. As you work on their capacity, opportunities will come. So that is the challenge unto our women. Build yourself. Build yourself internally, externally, build yourself spiritually, build yourself in all areas. Acquire a skill, do something. Chance will come unto you. And let's learn to be patient. It is not anyhow. Just like as been said, having meeting 1 to 5. If a woman wants to maintain her home, how will she be able to combine all those? Sure. And that is where there is problem. There is the need for a change even in the nation. And like what was said, when the righteous and authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear it through, the people mourn. Let there be that change. And let it start with us. The tendency is always to accuse the leader. If the followers also do the needful, we are going to see changes, and God will help us. And let our women rise up to the occasion and play their role. We shall get there one day. Thanks very much.
Very, very apt. And the truth remains that when you create, when you build a woman, you build a generation. So the truth remains that if really we need to see a progressive society, a progressive country, then the needs of the women should be put to the front burner to ensure that Nigeria moves forward to a greater state. I'd love to say my big thank you to Dr. Mary Oluwatobi for being part of our show today. Thank you so very much, ma'am.
Thanks very much. It's a privilege.
It's a pleasure having you. And Dr. Evans Ufedi, thank you so very much, sir, for also being part of our show today. I think it's very important for us to conclude like this by asking you to take a stand with women today. And in everything you do today on your social media handle, please, we would beg that you use the hashtag invest in women.
Yes.
Invest in women. So I will do all of that. Please Visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igudike. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.